Many Disco Elysium fans, myself included, are eagerly anticipating the English translation of A Sacred and Terrible Air by Robert Kurwitz, the founder of Zaum, and this book was written before the game's release and is said to be set in the same game world, so a lot of people are seeing it as the source or the origin for the story of Disco Elysium. So a couple of weeks ago, someone from Estonia added me on Goodreads and I sent them a message just saying, have you heard of this book? Because a lot of people are waiting for its translation. And they were kind enough to, I didn't even ask, they just went to the library, got the book, read it, and they've written the first English review. So we have some insights to what the Estonian version of the book actually contains. Now previously you could of course just translate the blurb and reviews already on Goodreads, but due to the nature of not knowing what's in the reviews, I didn't want to do this because you might just get spoilers come straight out of the translation and that would just kind of suck. So now we have an English review. I can talk about some of the general things that are contained in the book. First, this is a detective story. There might be more than two detectives. Second, unlike in Disco Elysium, which is a murder mystery case, here we have a missing persons case and also a ship goes missing. So the detectives are trying to find things which have suddenly just disappeared. Third, it seems like the pail from Disco Elysium also features in this book, which makes sense because it's in the same game world, and so the book's title might be referring to the pail. But the pail seems to have a much more complex and a sinister element to it than it did have in Disco Elysium, but it's unclear exactly what that is yet. Fourth, the book seems to have complex socio-political commentary, so we can imagine there will be some interesting conceptualization checks, rhetoric checks for us readers. And that's really it. That's the most of what we know. The book is only 240 pages, so it's unclear whether it'll have the vastness of Disco Elysium, but I'm just here to tell you that yes, it is a detective story, and yes, it is going to be kind of intellectually complex and have some kind of pale element involved in the book. I've included a link to the review in the description. It's from Goodreads. The reader was super kind in doing that, so thanks to them. And it might change in release. We never know. The translation might be changing what actually happens in the book, so all of this is subject to change. Until we have a release date, we can't know much. Hang tight, detectives.